Hi, this is Chong Kim, and this is part 2 of Chess in Ruby, version 2. Okay, so let's take a look at the file. Okay, and so what we're going to do is, see. Okay, well, so what we're going to do is create the move method. So move, so actually subject, given a position, like a rook on e4, I am going to, actually, let's start with a new position and move e4. Okay, so this will let's see, actually let's put a context around this for e4. Okay, so the board will look like rook, knight, bishop, queen, king, bishop, knight, rook, and okay, we need 3, 4, okay, and 8 of these pawns, and rook, knight, bishop, queen, king, bishop, knight, rook. Okay. All right. So when we move e4, this will be placed over here, and it should be black's turn. And another thing that we should look at is the en passant. The en passant square should be e3, and castling should be unchanged, so I'll just put that in here as well. Castling should be king, queen, king, queen. All right. Let's see. Half move should be 0, and full move should be 1. Okay. Undefined method move, so we go ahead and create it. So, let's see, lib chess. Okay. So we create it. And we start this off by creating a position, which is a copy of this, so self dupe, and returns the position. Okay, and it'll, okay, so actually, instead of using case, if the string matches this regular expression, for now, I'm just going to put an X, so this way it would just fail. Okay, then something. Okay, something, and this is a placeholder, else it'll raise illegal. Actually, we'll just do this, just have it raise the illegal move right here without any logic, string and self. Okay, uninitialized constant position illegal move. Okay, so we need to create a class illegal move, and that is derived from an exception. So that takes in a string and a position. So the error message we can set by calling super, and it'll be the string, character return, and a representation of position, whatever 2s will return. We'll probably have to fix this up. Oh, I forgot to put a quote here. All right, so we have an illegal move, and okay, so it threw an error. But one of the things we want to do first is set up this dupe, because we know there are problems with dupe. So let's just create a test for it, so it prevents any problems that we're going to face later on. So if we start with we just create a new position, for example, and before each we're going to create is equal to, actually not subject, okay, let position be equal to subject dupe. Okay, before each we'll set the see position board E4 square. We'll put a rook in there. So we're basically making some type of modification, and we expect that the subject's board E4 square should be blank. Okay, so it basically meaning that it's unchanged. Okay, so this should cause an error. So dupe should, okay, so it failed. So now what we'll do is we'll actually make dupe real. Actually, dupe is done by initialize. Might as well put the initialize all together. So here's initialize, and there's initialize copy other. So it's going to make a copy of itself. And we could use the same logic that we did with the comparison. So here's comparison. I'm just going to make a copy of this because it's going to be very similar. Okay, so we're going to go through each of the instance variables, and okay, and we're going to set. Okay, so instance variable set, and this is the. Let me just move this out of here. Okay, so I'll just call this the value. Is we get the instance, the value of the instance variable, and if we'll make a copy of it. So if the value is an array, if we had a hash, we would also copy that too. But none of our instance variables are hashes, so I'm just doing a test for an array. Okay, so and then we can set the variable to the value. Okay, and then we can just get rid of this. And all right, so so this should handle setting all the copying over the instance variables. So illegal move. Okay, so the dupe is not throwing any errors now. So illegal move. Okay, one other thing that I want to do is change the way the position is being printed out. So let's go somewhere and create a function called 2s, and so starting with the board. Okay, so we're just going to print out the board, and map. Okay, we're going to slice it into 8 slices. I mean rows of 8, and for each one of those pieces, actually it's a row. We're going to join it with a space, and then join that with character turn, and we're just going to print out the board, character turn. Let's see, what else do we need? Let's go take a look at inspect. Okay, so here's inspect, and basically we'll copy this, and let's see. 2s. Oh, you just do C tags, update the C tags, and TA 2s. Oh, still 2s not found. Oh, interesting. Oh, that's because there's probably a syntax error, and that's why. All right, so we have all of this, and basically it's the same thing except that the board is going to be printed out a little differently. So now, okay, so this looks okay. So E4. Okay. So we have the illegal situation. So if the string, we do a string match, and we do some regular expression, we'll use an X this time, and actually else. If it fails to match anything, then we'll raise an illegal move exception. Okay, so so in this case, what we want to do is look for a piece: rook, knight, bishop, queen, king. Question mark. Actually, parentheses and question mark. Okay, because I have the X modifier here, it's going to ignore white space, which means that I can use a character turn and continue writing it from here like this. This is kind of convenient because when I write this, regular expression is going to build up, and if it's going to get quite messy, so it's going to be hard to modify the code because it'll look very confusing. Okay, so this needs a location. So, all right, so we have the location. We should also name this. So this one we'll call it the piece, and this one we'll call it square. Okay, so now we have it named. All right. Okay, we have one too many parentheses. Okay, so all the parentheses match. All right. So, okay, so in this case, what we'll do is we'll just make the move. We have the we know what the destination is because that is the square, and we're just going to call eval on it because this is a function. Like E4 is a function that returns the value, so if you evaluate it, it'll turn to the index position. Okay, so the piece is going to be the piece, but it's going to be defaulted to a pawn if it doesn't exist, and we'll wrap that whole thing up, and depending on whose turn it is, so we're going to send, if it's white's turn, based on the turn, actually let's base it off the piece. Okay. Yeah, okay, so let's base it off the piece. If it's white's turn, and it really shouldn't really matter. Okay, so if it's white's turn, we want to send upcase and downcase otherwise. Okay, so we have 2 and then we have piece. We should throw an illegal move if the piece is not of the same color. So we'll let's see, raise illegal move if the color of the piece is not equal to the turn. Okay, to whose turn it is. Okay, so let's just, okay, no explicit conversion of symbol to integer. 139. So let's look at 139. It's right here. Eval m. Oh, okay. So, oh, so actually 2. Well, this is actually, oh, the reason why is because I'm using this form and it's expecting this form. Let me just match this up. Okay. It's expecting it to be m equals string dot match, and that way these variables are going to be set. We're not using 2, so there's a little warning message. Nil is not a symbol in move 140. So 140. What's okay? So nil is not a symbol. Okay. Okay. So what? Send upcase or downcase? Piece. Nil is not a symbol. Okay, so white. Um, oh, of course, because I'm saying piece here, but I'm assigning piece over here. So I really I took the wrong choice. It should have been turn. Okay. So um, I don't like the way this output looks. So I think I might want to change the test. Um, I'm actually surprised that this worked at all. Um, see the error. Okay, it failed. The board should equal this. Okay. The reason why I was surprised is because I don't think did I write color? Oh, yes, I did write color. I thought I didn't write color, so I was expecting it to fail. So anyway, so okay. All right, so now I can actually take a look at the error, and I don't like the way the output looks because when you see this, it's really hard to determine what the position looks like. Um, so what I'm going to do is um, see. Okay, so I'm just going to use um, a different form. So position, new, and this whole thing. So the board is going to be this. Okay. I'm spending a lot of time on this particular one because then I could use this as a template for the others. And I put a comma here, and okay. Okay, and turn. Okay, castling. Okay, half move and full move. Okay. Okay, so expect this. Wait, one more. Oh, actually, expect subject to equal this. Okay, and then we have all the options over here. This one closes that, and we have one too many parentheses. Okay, so let's see. All right, so now it looks a little bit better. Okay, so I can tell that the like the difference is right here. So the pawn has moved. The pawn is missing over here, and this is what we've got. So basically, it hasn't moved. It hasn't changed at all. So let's go see what's okay. The reason why is because we didn't actually move it. All right, so we have the 2, and we have the piece. So we'll look at the piece, and we'll do an upcase here so it can handle both white and black. So when it's a pawn, then actually we don't need to do this. We can actually start with the indices, okay, and select. This index is really from. So we have a to and a from. So we need to do move piece from to. And before we do that, we make sure that the piece is equal to board, position board from. Okay, so the first test is that the piece must be equal. So we have to look for the piece, and then we have to see that it's a legal move. And so we'll end up with a list. So we'll just say list here like this. And okay, so okay, so we have the list, and if the list is empty, then we want to raise the illegal. If the list is empty, and we want to raise ambiguous move. If the size is greater than 1. Okay. Otherwise, we know it's okay now, so we can. Okay, so for ambiguous move, actually for ambiguous move, I'm also going to pass in the list. Okay. And let's see. Okay, so now we actually make the move. So we can say board move piece. Oh, we don't even have to do that because it's already been moved in the list. So instead of having a list, no, actually, we can do that. We can do a map. And this will convert it into, let's see, I wonder what happens if I take a false. So take a false and say compact. Oh, it should be an array. And it's still false. Okay, so what I need to do is, okay, actually, I don't really need to, I'm trying to avoid moving the piece twice, but I think I'll just for now I'll just keep it this way, and then we can refactor it if we wanted to. Okay, so the list contains the move, the from. So at this point, I could say from is equal to list 0. So now I can move the piece. So move piece, this is for the board, not board, position. Move piece from 2. Actually, just list 0, 2. And that should do it. Uninitialized constant indices. Okay, so indices. Okay, so indices. That is going to be 0 through 63 as before. Okay, so let's take a look at this. It looks good. The board looks good. The turn needs to be modified. Okay, so let's change that. So let's see where we are. Okay. So the turn needs to be modified. Position, and then we could say position turn is equal to okay, so switch the position. Okay, it passed. And I think this will require less changes, and it should stay about this size. And this is about a good enough amount of logic in here, because I think originally when we wrote the first version of Move in version 1, this was pretty much scrolling off the screen if you include that the 3 functions that we created were really part of Move. Okay, so let's make the second move. So we'll take this and make a copy, and this time it's going to be E4 and E5. Okay, so basically we're doing the same thing as we did before. E5. Okay, and for that, this should look like this. The turn should be white. And because it's white's turn, the full move counter should now be 2. Castling and half move, still the same. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so, and the en passant square is now E6. Okay, so the board looks right, but the full move counter needs to be incremented. So when it's white's turn, we should increment the full move counter. So we go here and we make a small change that says, actually we want to do it before. Actually, we can do it after. Okay, so position dot full move incremented by 1 if see, position turn is white. Okay, it passes. Great. So let's go back here, and we have 2 more moves until we start running it through the PGN file. Okay, so now we want to knight F3 and move knight F3. Okay, so now the board should look like this knight should move to 3. Okay, and it's going to be black's turn. The en passant will be nil. Castling is still the same. Half move has now been incremented. Full move stays the same. Okay, so the board should be matching, and it looks like it's matching. Turn is good. Okay, so we need to update the half move. We only update the half move when so position half move, we increment it by 1 if the piece is not a pawn. Okay, and we have to make sure we do an upcase so it handles black and white pawns. Or a push of, or a take of a piece. So we need to have the target piece. So oh, we lost the target piece because we overrode it. I'll put a target piece over here. So we have the two. So target piece, two piece is okay. So we keep track of it here because once we move the piece, then we lose it. Okay, so we have the two piece. I don't know if I like the word two piece, maybe target piece. Okay. All right, so the piece is a pawn and the target piece. Oh, actually, this won't work because what I'm about to do is say target piece does not equal to blank, which means you've taken a piece. But the problem is when you do an en passant, the target piece, the place where you land, will be an empty square, and so this won't work. And so then you need a special case to say like if it's en passant. So instead, what I think I'll do is I could have a Boolean variable that would say piece taken. Is piece taken. And I'll do that over here. Is piece taken is we get the piece, and that does not equal dash. Okay, so that should handle it, and then we have to know if it's en passant. So if the piece is, so then we'll do a special case here. So if if the piece is a pawn, and 2 is equal to en passant, the en passant square, then piece is taken. Actually, this isn't so bad. So actually, is piece taken can actually be this or this. So we can actually just do this. Is piece taken is the board. Okay, so yes. So either you're taking a piece normally, or if it's a pawn and you're moving to the en passant square, then you've taken a piece. Okay. All right. So that should handle the half move. All right. Oh, the half move is still not updated. Okay. Oh, I said this should be an or. Oh, actually, no. And not piece taken. Okay. So this is the opposite logic. So it's and piece is not taken. So so last push of a pawn or a take of a piece. Okay. All right. So far so good. The one problem right now is the full move counter has not been incremented. That is a very interesting. Oh, that's because somehow it's misspelled white here. Okay, so everything passes. Great. So we do one more, and then we should start running it through the PGN file, which is kind of fun, actually. Knight c6. Okay, so move knight c6. And moving knight c6 would be this one. Over here, it should be white's turn. En passant is still nil. Castling is alright. Half move. This should get incremented. Full move. Now it's white turn, so that should also be incremented. Okay, it passes. All right, so now we're ready to. Let's see. Now we're ready to read in the PGN file. Okay, so I'll just see where this goes. This is move. Okay, so context read. Legal moves from PGN file. Okay. All right, so let's run through this. Okay, so first we have a file. We open up games, morphe.pgn, read-only mode. Do, it's an F, and inside we read it. So this gets a line while we keep getting a line. Okay, so we have a line right now. If, okay, we're going to skip the line if it starts with if line start with a bracket, because that means it's a header. So let's take a look at the file. So in this file, we want to skip all the header information, and then we'll just be left with this. So okay, so skip it, and we also want to ignore all these numbers. They're not really important, so we'll just ignore those. So we can do that by taking the line and doing a G sub, looking for a word boundary followed by a digit, one or more digits, followed by a dot, and just replace it with an empty string. So basically get rid of that. And then we can do a split and go through each one. So it is a move M. Okay, and now we can do, actually we can move this up here. Okay. So we can expect, now this is in curly braces because basically what we're going to put something in here, and we say not to raise error. Okay, so oh, we need a position. So let's, okay, so we'll start a position from here. Okay, create a new position, and case M, if it looks like actually, let's just do this and catch the conditions later. So expect okay, move actually returns a new position, so I should assign it. Okay, so let's see. Okay, all right, so far so good. We made a few moves, and the illegal move got position. Illegal move is E takes F5. So E takes F5. So let's go back and fix that. So that's because the regular expression can have a take. So we so you can have if so what it looked like was f takes e5. So I'm not really sure what to name it first. Oh yeah, it's called a file. Okay, and it's A through H, and it may not be there. And there's an X, but the X may not be there. Okay, so this handles that situation, and we also need to filter it over here. So we need to convert select. Well, all right. So we'll just let it run. Okay. Oh, gotta remove that. I was just doing that for show. Okay. All right. So making progress. Knight takes f6 check. So that means that a check may be optional here. So I'll just put a carriage return and backslash plus question mark because it may not be there. All right. I might as well put this a separate line. And okay. All right. Castles. Okay. And I'm going to take this whole thing, wrap this up, and wrap this up as well. So in 2 levels. Wonder if like this would look better. With this white space, it really makes it easier to keep track of all these things. Okay, so see, this parentheses matches with that, so let's put it like this. So I'm going to say or okay. Wonder how I should do this. Maybe or like this. Okay. All right, I'm trying to line this up. It's not necessary to, but okay. All right, so we have this regular expression, or it could be a castle. And I'm missing a parentheses or something because everything is green over here, so that means that I missed something. So that matches with that. So if I put my cursor here, okay, and then if I do this, this is not matching with anything. That's a strong indicator that something is very wrong. What happens if I do this? Would it ever? Okay, oh, it matches like this. Interesting. Okay, I think I'll just space it out like this. Okay. Then this looks like this outer one is kind of unnecessary. Then I have just one too many levels of parentheses there. Okay, so this one matches with that or that. Okay, great. So I think this works for me. And okay, so I'll just leave it like this for now. Okay. All right. No explicit conversion of nil into string. Eval. Oh, somehow it's not being able to read this. Oh, the reason why is because it matched the castle. So 2. Um, so now we're actually going to do some trickery here. So okay. Okay, so castle. So I'm going to name this K castle for kingside castle. Actually, I'll just say regular castle. Okay, so it depends on the castle now. It's like actually, if the square exists, then m square. If the regular expression for the square exists, then we do that. Otherwise, then we test for castle. Actually, we'll give the castle. Well, okay, m castle. So is it a castle? If it is a castle, then our to position is depending if you're white or black. So white based on turn, it's either going to be E1 or E8. Okay, and if it's not a castle, then then it should raise an error. Actually, not E1. It's the 2 square, so it's G, G1 or G8. Castle. All right. So actually, I don't think there's any other choice. So I'm just going to say it's either going to be a square, and if it's not a square, then it's a king move. Okay. So the piece. So this says that. Oh. So now I'll do it based off of castle. This is interesting because I'm going to switch this to castle and swap the logic here. The reason is because then I could say m castle here, and if it's a castle, then the piece is going to be a king. So white based on turn. If it's white, then it's a capital K, otherwise it's lowercase k. Okay, and otherwise we do this. So it's just a regular piece. This logic is kind of convoluted, but it's only 2 lines of change, and everything else should remain the same. Okay. Oh, eval. You have to be careful when you don't put parentheses, because once you start adding code around it, then it parses differently. All right, so we're off to the next error. So bishop e3. It raised an exception. Okay, bishop e3. So this is white's turn, and bishop is trying to go to e3. Oh, interesting thing is that this bishop wants to go to e3, but there's a pawn in the way. So probably what happened is a pawn didn't get removed. So let's take a look. All right. So we just run rspec. Actually, we want to run it through. Let's see what game this is. Oh, actually, let's modify this code now. See, we'll modify the code so that as it's going through, it'll print out the position. So after it makes the move, then it's going to print the move and then print the position. Okay, so let's do that. Okay, so now we can see what happened right before, and so the move was g5, and last move. Actually, I want the move that was made to be underneath, because I think that reads a little bit better. Okay. All right, and this is, oh, actually I didn't even print out which game it is. So we'll start off with 0. Actually, we'll start off with 1. And, oh, this is probably the first game. All right. Okay, so we'll put S. Okay, so this is part of game 1, and it's move 17. So, all right. So let's just step through it. Okay, so far everything looks good. Knight takes, bishop back. Knight takes, f6 check. I'm looking at this one, and I'm pressing N to go to the next search. Okay, so that's interesting. This is very interesting because the move here was d3, but it moved the wrong pawn. It was supposed to move this pawn, but instead it moved this one, which means that, let's go take a look at move pawn. Okay, so let's go back and move piece. We just have to look at the pawn section. Okay, here's the pawn section. Actually, let's because this is kind of complicated, I'm going to move this to move pawn. And okay, I don't know what arguments it needs, but I'll just take this whole thing and put it in a move pawn, like over here. Def move pawn. And see, I didn't do that quite right. So move pawn. And just take this whole thing, try this again, and bring it right up over here. Okay. All right. All right, so we probably need the from and to. And okay, so move pawn. And the king, I'll move it to move king. Oh, this this causes a problem here because I need to find out what the return value of this thing is. So if it's nil, then okay, so I need to if it's nil, oh, of course, or this, I don't know if this will compile. Because if it's nil, it'll go here. But it looks, well, I'll take my chances. Unexpected keyword then. Okay. Oh, actually, return nil if this is nil. Okay, so that works. Return nil if that is nil. Wrong number of arguments 0 for 2. Move king. Okay, right. For both of these, we need from and to. Okay. Undefined local variable dx. And actually, we'll just repeat that over here. Okay. Move piece. Okay, so we have a king on e1, rook on a1, e1, c1. So this should be a castling move. So position should look like as if it castled, but it got returned nil. That's interesting. Oh, of course, because I'll just return okay, because all I need to do in this case is, let's see, all I need to do is, oh, board 2 from, so that's going to happen anyway. So I'm just going to return true. And return true. Okay. So, okay, so now we, so I split it up. Well, let's take a look at how the code looks now. So, see, this is move piece. Actually, move rook would also be nice. So, from to. Okay, and dx and dy. Bit of repetition there. Okay, so okay. Oh, this should also return true. All right. So we reproduce the same problem, and move piece looks like it's organized a little bit better, and so now we just have to focus on move pawn. So we just focus in on this one area. So let's see. So this is capturing a piece. So which one of these? Okay, so this is capturing en passant. And when we take a look here, and this, there is no en passant square being set. So this should not play a part. this is where it plays a part. It checks for a diagonal move, and oh, interesting. Okay, so this diagonal move, oh, I have the logic backwards. Uh, the piece on 2. Okay. Okay, so that should fix it. Um, nil, right. Um, I'll just say true. Actually, this is my, okay, got nil. Okay, so if it's white, the dy will be -1. Board 2, the target piece. Oh, this is for a capture, should not equal 0. Or, should not equal that. Okay, so that makes sense. Oh, okay, so now we're past that point. So rook h, g8. So you can see debugging this compared to the previous version is a lot better because, well, at least for me, I feel like I'm able to find where I need to make changes. Okay, so not to razor and say rook h. Okay, so this time it's a we have to do a selection over here, and the error here is illegal move. Okay, so hg8. Well, whose turn is it? It's black's turn. It's black's turn. hg8. Okay, so this is wrong because there is no rook on h to go to g8, and I know what the problem is. The problem is with the castling. Let's go back to the move here. So um, hmm. So it actually castled in the wrong direction because what I was expecting to see. Let's run this through and we can see this. Okay, so this happens when black is trying to castle. Okay, it's right here. So this is the castling, but it's it's supposed to be a long castle, not a short castle. So we need to fix that. But I think this is a good stopping point because we made a lot of progress, and I think it's I don't want this thing to run too long. So let's finish this up in the next session.